It began like a secret whispered in the dark, a quiet rumor slithering through Atlanta's neon nights. Bambi is glowing, they said. But this glow was not the shimmer of success, not the sparkle of fame, it was something deeper, something dangerous. Word spread like wildfire, Bambi might be pregnant. But the real shock? The father might not be Scrappy. By the time the cameras started rolling for season 13, reality itself began to crack. A tall, mysterious man was suddenly appearing by her side, quiet dinners, private meetings, photos snapped from far-off angles. Fans were in a frenzy. Friends whispered. Enemies laughed. Was Bambi truly moving on? Or was this just another love and hip-hop illusion waiting to explode on national TV? Because in Atlanta, love is never private, and every heartbeat ends up trending. That night, the city was calm, but the energy? Electric. The lights came on, the cameras rolled, and the new season began, not with joy, but with whispers. Crew phones started buzzing one by one. Did you hear about Bambi? At first, no one believed it. Bambi and Scrappy, they were supposed to be done. Their love had been torn apart, piece by piece, for the world to see. The fights, the silence, the pain, all replayed and memed to death. She had promised she was done with drama. She wanted peace. Healing. But peace never lasts long in Atlanta, does it? Rashida was in her boutique, scrolling through her feed, when it hit. A fan DM'd her a screenshot, Bambi, holding hands with a tall man outside an upscale Buckhead restaurant. The caption? Atlanta's new power couple. Rashida's iced coffee stopped halfway to her lips. She did not know whether to smile or sigh. The streets twist photos into poison. And soon enough, everyone was sipping the tea. Yandy found out next. Carly Red leaned in at a charity gala, lips curling into that signature smirk. Girl, you heard? Bambi out here with a whole new man. And she's glowing, for real this time. Yandy froze. Glowing, she repeated. Carly just shrugged. You did not hear it from me, but the cameras are about to catch a storm. By morning, the internet had detonated. Gossip blogs screamed in all caps, Bambi pregnant. Mystery man revealed. Scrappy reacts. Fans flooded Twitter. TikTok went wild. Scrappy's face was everywhere, furious, silent, betrayed. And Bambi? Quiet. Her last Instagram post was a mirror selfie, faint smile, hand resting softly near her stomach, captioned, New Beginnings. The comments turned into a digital battlefield. Supporters cheered, haters dragged. And somewhere in between, one question echoed through every thread, who is the man? 2 days later, the cameras caught up to her. Bambi sat in a dimly lit studio, the glow of vanity lights reflecting in her eyes. She looked calm, but her silence trembled. When asked if she was ready to film, she smiled. I have been ready, she said, and the world held its breath. Soft R&B played as she adjusted her hair. Then, she looked straight into the lens. People love to talk, she began, voice low but steady. They will say anything when they do not know your story. But when you have walked through enough pain, you stop caring. You start living for yourself. Her voice cracked, not from weakness, but from release. Years of love, betrayal, and judgment were slipping away. The producer leaned in. Bambi, are the rumors true? Are you expecting? She turned slightly, smiled faintly, and placed her hand gently on her stomach. The air froze. I am happy, she whispered. That is all I will say for now. I am happy. That clip broke the internet. Fans dissected every frame. Some said it was confirmation. Others called it bait. But the mystery only deepened. Later that night, Jacques and Kendra hosted the season's first get-together, the calm before the storm. The tension was thick enough to slice. Yandy and Carly whispered in a corner. Rashida scrolled endlessly, pretending not to notice the drama brewing. And then, he walked in. Scrappy. Uninvited. Unbothered. But burning. He scanned the room, jaw tight, voice low but sharp. Where is she? Silence. Cameras zoomed in. Producers whispered, we're rolling. Rashida tried to calm him, but he snapped. She out here making me look stupid on national TV. If she is pregnant, I got a right to know. And then, the door opened. Bambi walked in. White fitted dress. Studio lights bouncing off her skin. Calm. Composed. But powerful. Scrappy froze. Their eyes locked, no words. Just pain, years deep. And then Carly whispered under her breath, well, this just got real. The silence shattered. The cameras rolled. Atlanta was on fire again. The camera zoomed in, tighter than ever, every emotion, every tear, every secret visible under the studio lights. Bambi took one slow step forward. Scrappy's jaw clenched. The air between them was electric, fragile, like a storm about to break. Bam, he said quietly, his voice cracking under the weight of pride and pain. Tell me it ain't true. The room went silent. Even the background music faded, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Bambi sighed, her gaze darting across the room, every cast member, every camera lens, every face frozen in disbelief. Then, she met his eyes. "It is true that I am happy," she said softly. "And it is true that I am done living for everybody else." Her voice trembled on the last word, not from fear, but from finality. The kind of shake that comes when you finally drop the weight of a decade off your shoulders. Scrappy shook his head, eyes glistening with the kind of heartbreak that no man ever wants the world to see. "You really moving on like that?" he whispered. "After everything?" Bambi blinked back tears, but her answer came like a quiet thunderclap. "After everything," she said. "Because I had to, for me." That silence afterward was unbearable. Not a TV silence, a real one. Heavy. Sharp. Rashida looked down. Yandy exhaled. Jock muttered under his breath, "Damn." The producers exchanged glances, they knew. This was gold. The kind of raw, human moment reality TV dreams of. But this time, something about Bambi's calmness felt different. She wasn't playing the game anymore. She wasn't performing for sympathy or clout. She was free. And when she turned away, her hand resting gently on her stomach once again, the music swelled. The screen faded out on her smile, soft, serene, untouchable. One thing was certain, season 13 had just begun, and Atlanta was not ready. By sunrise, the city was on fire again. Every blog, every podcast, every YouTube channel was replaying her words, "I am happy." 2 words that detonated the internet. Screenshots flooded Instagram. TikTok edits slowed the moment down frame by frame, heartbreak in slow motion. Fan pages started guessing the mystery man behind her glow. Rashida sat in her kitchen, coffee cold, phone in hand, scrolling through chaos. "These people act like they have never seen a woman move on," she muttered. Across the counter, Kirk smirked. "You know how they get, babe. They live for the drama. Bambi trending means ratings, bout to skyrocket." Rashida shook her head. "Yeah, but it's different this time. She looks happy. For real. I just hope whoever this new guy is, he's not playing her." Meanwhile, across town, Yandy and Carly Red sat at a chic brunch spot, sunglasses, mimosas, and whispers. Carly leaned in, her voice dripping with excitement. "Girl, I got tea. His name's Marcus. From LA. A music producer. They met months ago, before the separation was even final." Yandy froze mid-sip. "Marcus from LA? The one who worked with Tamar last summer?" Carly smirked. "That's the one. I told you, Atlanta is about to shake." Yandy stirred her coffee slowly, the smile gone. "Bambi doesn't need another circus. You remember last season, the postpartum, the hate, the cheating mess, she barely made it out." Carly rolled her eyes. Yeah, but come on, Yandy. Without drama, there's no show." Yandy leaned forward, her tone sharp now. "There's a difference between a show and a woman's real life. And this one feels real." That afternoon, Bambi sat in her home, cameras quietly setting up around her. The energy was different, respectful, almost sacred. She looked into the lens and exhaled. "I do not owe anyone an explanation," she began. "But I also do not want people thinking this happened overnight. I cried. I healed. I forgave. And then? I let go." Her voice quivered slightly. "Scrappy will always be part of my story," she continued. "But I cannot keep living in the same chapter." She smiled faintly. "And yes, there is someone new. He is kind. He listens. And for the first time in a long time, I feel seen." The producer's voice came from behind the camera, cautious, but curious. "And, the pregnancy?" Bambi looked straight ahead, unflinching. "It's true," she said simply. "I am expecting. No tears. No breakdown. Just peace." And once again, Atlanta imploded. #Bambi Speaks trended worldwide. Screenshots of her calm, glowing face filled timelines with captions like "A woman reborn" and "The glow we all needed." But not everyone was celebrating. Scrappy saw it too. He said nothing, but his silence was louder than any statement. Later that night, in the studio, he sat with Jock, slumped in the corner, voice heavy. "Man, I ain't mad she moving on," Scrappy said quietly. "I am mad she moving on, without me. You feel me? We been through wars together, dog. Now she gone." Jock nodded slowly, his eyes soft. "Sometimes that's how love ends, bro. Quiet." Scrappy leaned back. Eyes glassy. "She was my peace, even when it was chaos. Now she got somebody else calling her queen." The only sound was the slow beat echoing through the studio, soft, melancholic. "Maybe you should talk to her," Jock finally said. "Not on camera. Just man to man." Scrappy nodded, but they both knew, nothing in Atlanta ever stays off camera. The very next day, fate, or production, made its move. A coincidental meetup, arranged at Rashida's launch event in Midtown. Everyone was there, Yandy, Carly, Jock, laughter, champagne, and tension mixing in the air. The crew had cameras in every corner, waiting for lightning to strike again. And it did. Scrappy walked in halfway through, all black fit, gold chain, pain in his eyes. Every camera turned. Every conversation stopped. He spotted her instantly, standing near the bar, hand resting on her stomach, glowing under the soft lights, laughing with Rashida. He froze. For a moment, it felt like time betrayed him. Then he walked forward, each step slower than the last. "Bam," he said quietly. She turned. Surprised. "Calm. Beautiful." "Scrap, I ain't come to start nothing," he said, voice low and trembling. But the way he looked at her, the cameras did not need dialogue. The air was thick with history. The cameras were rolling, but for once, nobody cared about the show. This was real. Scrappy stood just a few feet away, every muscle in his jaw tight, every word trembling before it escaped. I needed to see you," he said. "Hear it from you." Bambi looked at him, soft eyes, steady heart. "You already did," she replied quietly. "On camera." "That ain't the same," he snapped, voice cracking under the weight of regret. "You tellin' the world before you tell me? That hurt, Bam." It really did. Her breath caught. For the first time that night, the mask slipped. "Scrappy. I tried," she whispered. "Every time I reached out, it turned into a fight. You know that." He exhaled, slow and heavy, eyes glistening. "So it's true. You movin' on, for real?" Bambi nodded, once, slowly. "For real." And just like that, the room froze. Every whispered conversation died mid-sentence. Carly stopped her drink mid-sip. Rashida's phone lowered to her lap. Even the producers forgot to blink. It was raw. It was painful. It was human. Scrappy swallowed hard, forcing a smile that never reached his eyes. "I'm happy for you," he said, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. "Thank you," she whispered back. For a split second, the chaos paused. It was bittersweet, two people finally accepting the end of something that had once felt bulletproof. When Scrappy turned to leave, Rashida stepped forward, wrapping her arm around Bambi. "You did good, girl," she whispered. "You stood your ground." But as the camera zoomed in closer, Bambi's face told a different story. That wasn't triumph, that was closure. The kind of look a person wears when they finally get what they wanted, but lose what they once prayed for. That night, she sat alone on her balcony. The city lights below shimmered like ghosts, quiet witnesses to her rebirth. Her phone buzzed. A message. "Proud of you, babe. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Marcus." She smiled softly, placed the phone down, and rested both hands on her stomach. For the first time in a long time, she whispered, "I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." The screen faded to black. A heartbeat echoed. And then, the caption appeared, "The beginning of a love story Atlanta never saw coming." Days passed, but the storm in Atlanta only grew louder. Every blog, every gossip page, every podcast had one headline: Bambi moves on. The fans were no longer watching the show, they were living it. The streets buzzed with questions. Who is Marcus really? How long had it been going on? Was he ready to be a stepfather? And most of all, was Scrappy truly gone? Bambi stayed silent. No interviews. No tweets. No explanations. Just a few simple Instagram posts, peace over everything. Healing in progress. Thank you for the love. Each caption went viral. Each word carried the weight of a woman rebuilding herself under a spotlight she never asked for. Then came the episode everyone had been waiting for. The producers knew exactly what they were doing. The scene opened with Bambi walking into a dimly lit restaurant, her reflection gliding across the windowpane like a ghost of who she used to be. Marcus stood to greet her, tall, confident, and calm. "You look beautiful," he said. "You always say that," she smiled. "Because it's always true." The chemistry was undeniable. But behind the soft smiles and subtle glances, you could feel the tension humming beneath the surface. "You okay with how everything's playing out?" Marcus asked, his tone careful. "The show, the blogs, the noise?" Bambi exhaled, looking away. "It's a lot. I knew it was coming, but seeing my life turn into everyone's headline again, it's exhausting." Marcus reached across the table, his hand steady, grounding her. "You've been through worse. You don't owe anyone your peace." She smiled faintly, eyes glassy. "That's easy to say, harder to live by, especially when you've got a past like mine." He leaned in, his voice soft but solid. "Your past made you the woman I fell for." The camera lingered on their hands, fingers intertwined, steady and sure. And for the first time, the world realized, this wasn't just a rebound. This was real. But across the city, not everyone was smiling. Scrappy sat in the studio again, alone, the mic hanging like a mirror he did not want to look into. He hadn't recorded in weeks. But tonight, the pain demanded a beat. He pressed record and started to rap. Not about fame. Not about money. But about her. Used to call her my peace, now she my storm. Tried to hold her down, but she done transformed. Said love was forever, now she gone reborn. Guess a king don't matter when the queen moves on. His voice cracked, but he kept going, each lyric a confession disguised as rhythm. When the track ended, he sat there in silence. Eyes closed. Hands shaking. For the first time, Scrappy sounded human again. The next morning, Jock stopped by. Man, I heard that track, he said, shaking his head. That's pain, bro. You can't fake that. Scrappy didn't look up. It's the only way I know to say what I can't say to her face. Jock sighed. Then maybe you should, before it's too late. And that's when fate, or maybe production, struck again. Yandy's charity gala. A glittering night of sequins, smiles, and hidden tension. Bambi arrived late, hand in hand with Marcus. The room fell silent. Even the cameras slowed their pan, capturing the way she moved, poised, glowing, untouchable. Yandy greeted her with a teasing grin. Girl, you glowing even more in person. Bambi laughed lightly. Guess happiness looks good on me. But the laughter faded fast. Because then, he walked in. Scrappy. All black suit. Quiet storm energy. Every eye turned. Every whisper stopped. He spotted her instantly, and the world seemed to tilt. Bam, he said, forcing a half smile. You really out here bringing him, to our world, huh? Bambi exhaled. This isn't your world anymore, Scrap. It's mine too. Marcus stayed calm, silent, respectful. But ready. Scrappy nodded slowly. You're right. But I'll say this once, I hope you know what he's signing up for. ATL love don't come easy. Marcus extended his hand. I'm not here to replace nobody. I'm just here to love her. Right? For a long second, Scrappy stared at that hand, and then, he shook it. Not warmly. But respectfully. Cool, he said. Just keep it real. The tension cracked, but only just. As Scrappy walked away, Yandy leaned toward Carly and whispered, Did that just happen? Did we just witness growth in ATL? Carly smirked, swirling her drink. Girl, don't jinx it. It's only episode 1, movie camera cut to black. Heartbeat. Fade out. The narration closes. In a city where love and loyalty mix like oil and fire, sometimes peace looks like walking away. But in Atlanta, no story ever really ends. It just reloads. The night in Atlanta ended with rain, soft, steady, and symbolic. Bambi and Marcus left the gala early, walking beneath the city lights that shimmered against the wet pavement. You handled that well, Marcus said, holding the car door open. Bambi smiled faintly. I had to. The old me would have snapped. But this me, she's different. As she sat down, her phone buzzed. A text from Scrappy, take care of yourself, for real. She stared at the message for a long moment before typing back, you too. Then she locked her phone, exhaled deeply, and whispered to herself, new season. New story.